I'm moving into this house with my mom. When my husband expressed disbelief, my mother-in-law, standing beside us, shouted, "I'll cover the monthly payments, so leave." I was shocked by their strange behavior. The reason behind their drastic change would become clear after 019. The apartment lease was transferred to my mother-in-law's name. I'm called Summer, and I turned 34 this year. My late father chose the name Summer because I was born during that season, and he cherished me deeply. He owned a small factory known for his grinding technology, and I admire his strong presence. Despite my mother scolding me for playing there, my father always took the time to explain his techniques to me. My father's factory faced trouble when the bank tightened loans, resulting in mounting debts despite his excellent skills. The bank considered the old factory not worthy of a loan. Eventually, due to the increasing debts, my father took his own life in the factory. Left with me in elementary school when mother fled the town, and we started living quietly elsewhere. My mother also passed away during my high school years due to the years of hardship, leaving me resentful of the world. However, what kept me going and prevented me from losing hope was the strong desire to showcase my father's skills to the world. I worked hard, earned a scholarship, completed high school, and managed multiple part-time jobs to cover living expenses while studying engineering at a public university. I met Jason, my husband, during university. He was a bit disorganized and often asked for my lecture notes. Since I didn't have many friends in university, Jason's friendly approach gradually drew me to him. Unlike other men, he wasn't put off by my assertiveness. He deeply respected me, saying, "Summer, you're amazing." It gave me a warm feeling, reminiscent of when my father praised me. After graduating from university, Jason secured a job at a small to medium-sized enterprise, while I joined a large corporation. We moved in together right after graduation. Jason took the initiative in household chores, which was a huge help as I was busy with work. 6 years later, at the age of 28, armed with skills and connections, I embarked on realizing my dream of reviving my father's small factory. Jason, always supportive, cheered, "Finally, your dream is coming true." Although marriage had been a topic over those 6 years, I insisted on waiting until my dream materialized, and he patiently waited. To kickstart the project, I raised funds through crowdfunding, leveraging my identity as a female engineer. I became the face of the campaign, garnering support for women's empowerment, gradually accumulating resources and talent. 4 years later, I successfully breathed new life into the small factory. Knowing the bank's reluctance to fund an old factory, I equipped it with cutting-edge machinery, focusing on a clean, modern appearance, creating a workplace where women could feel comfortable. The business took off smoothly, swiftly ascending to the ranks of top-tier factories. To the world, I might have seemed like a fortunate female success story, but it was the outcome of my unwavering effort. Only Jason, my companion since university, truly understood this. Unfortunately, instead of rejoicing in my achievements, Jason, who faced challenges in his job at the small to medium-sized enterprise, lagged behind his peers, and remained a regular employee, grew increasingly cynical. He started envying others, and whenever we met, he'd express his discontent, saying things like, "You're doing well," or "You deserve someone better than me." I consistently reassured him that my success was thanks to his unwavering support. Although unsure if I would have succeeded without him, he remained unconvinced. So, as proof, I decided to marry him and assured him he could stay just the way he was. What I desired from him was tranquility and solace, an innocent heart genuinely moved by my endeavors. However, perhaps things change after a decade as a working adult. I hoped marriage would bring peace to his heart, but little did I know it would have the opposite effect, leading to days filled with regret. When our marriage was arranged, we promptly visited both families. I had the impression that Jason's family, being a typical office worker's household, must be cheerful since Jason grew up there. However, the reality was starkly different. Their home was a 50-year-old wooden structure, showing signs of wear and tear, seemingly on the verge of collapse. Upon seeing me, Jason's mother gave me a sharp look and remarked, "So, you're the rich president everyone's talking about." Having seen my face in the media during fundraising, she seemed to interpret my well-dressed appearance as an arrogant display of wealth. "Jason has been under your care quite a bit, hasn't he? Oh, how thankful we are. Please come in, even though it's dirty," she continued sarcastically, leading me inside. Jason, standing behind me, shrugged as if it were routine and nudged me forward. Jason's father, perhaps unintentionally, wore a worn-out, lint-covered outfit and took a seat on the sofa. "Oh, sorry about this. We were raised this way, different from some rich folks," he apologized, offering a seat. I felt like I had ventured into enemy territory alone, but Jason sat quietly beside me, offering no support. His parents would counter, "That's how rich people are different from us commoners," to anything I said, making any meaningful interaction nearly impossible. Later, I inquired with Jason about his parents' aversion to the wealthy. He confirmed it, revealing that he had held such sentiments since childhood. Whenever he saw a large house, he'd comment, "They must have done something bad to build that. Rich people are definitely up to no good. They don't have a heart. Those born into rich families always look down on us commoners. Don't associate with such people." He harbored a strong dislike for the affluent, and his parents even scolded him for befriending a classmate from a wealthy landowner's family. Despite not growing up wealthy and having once envied the rich, I was curious about the origins of such sentiments. It turned out Jason's parents didn't approve of our relationship. His mother frequently accused me of exploiting him, and his father taunted him, saying, "Don't let a woman oppress you." While Jason's growing bitterness as I succeeded might have been influenced by his parents, my wealth was dedicated to fulfilling my late father's dream, not to belittle or take advantage of others. Although Jason had explained this, my success seemed to overshadow everything else in their eyes. I was determined to help them understand me, but no matter my efforts, they would quickly dismiss it, saying, "That's how rich people are." Even the gifts I sent were met with sarcasm. Slowly, I grew distant from my in-laws, while Jason began spending more time with them, especially after his father fell ill 2 years into our marriage. Despite sharing a home, our interactions became minimal. Then, out of the blue, Jason announced, "I quit my job because housework is too demanding." His unilateral decision angered me, considering our lack of communication, making us seem like a couple in name only. Although he claimed to be busy with housework, he often went out, seemingly to the casino. When I brought this up, he retorted, "Just hire a housekeeping service. I'm not your servant, and you have the money, so it's fine." I was left speechless. About 2 months after his father's passing, Jason and his mother, wearing solemn expressions, appeared at my house. Jason declared, "I'm moving into this house with my mom." As I stood there in shock, my mother-in-law, positioned behind me, stepped forward and shouted, "I'll cover the monthly payments to leave." Surprised, I blurted out, "Wait, please. Can you afford the rent, Mother?" This seemed to strike a nerve as she turned red in the face and snapped, "You're always belittling people. You may think you're always the best. We have our ways too. We won't be looked down on forever." Jason also snorted in contempt. "I won't always bend to your wishes. I'll chart my own path," he declared. Faced with their strong attitudes, I came to the realization that dealing with them was becoming impossible. Reflecting on everything that had unfolded, I reluctantly agreed, "Fine, I'll move out next month." However, my mother-in-law interjected, "Not next month, leave by next week. My moving stuff will arrive." Her schedule was unreasonably tight, and she had already planned her move without waiting for my final decision. What was she thinking? As I hesitated, she casually remarked, "You're wealthy, just hire someone to move for you." It wasn't about the money. It seemed they couldn't look past the notion that being affluent makes you less human. I started to ponder, why don't they find a new place? This is my rental. But as if predicting this, my mother-in-law countered, "This is Jason's place. Just because you make some money, don't get too carried away." It was evident she disliked that I earned more than Jason. Glancing at Jason once more, I saw a man so different from when we first met, his face contorted and unappealing. His appearance became repugnant, and I questioned why I had married him in the first place. In that moment, a strong desire to leave and not share the same air with them overcame me. This, I thought to myself, is the moment one decides on a divorce. Turning away from them, I calmly stated, "Fine, I'll move out this weekend. We'll handle the paperwork." At that, they exchanged triumphant glances, almost reveling in the feeling of defeating a longtime adversary. It felt strangely liberating. Swiftly, I searched for a new apartment and a moving company, sorting out all the necessary paperwork. Despite being occupied with business trips, I managed it all. Upon returning home to find Jason asleep and treating me as if I were invisible over the weekend, he emotionlessly signed the divorce papers, and my former mother-in-law signed the lease agreement with the real estate agent. I wondered if she even considered the $6,000 rent. So I left the luxury condo, moving out solo. Naturally, I opted for a high-security apartment, a one-room space sufficient for one person. Considering it an opportunity, I let go of many possessions, feeling a sense of renewal. Having the freedom to decorate as I pleased was a pleasant change. I immersed myself in interior decorating for my new apartment, or more accurately, I had to immerse myself to avoid going insane. Never did I imagine that my long-standing relationship with Jason would conclude in this manner. We used to be each other's support during our financially challenging college days. The distortion that gradually crept in over time is quite unsettling. However, a shocking revelation shook my understanding of the situation. A college classmate mentioned witnessing Jason indulging in a nightclub, and an acquaintance from my previous apartment shared sightings of my former mother-in-law driving off in an opulent foreign car, adorned in expensive fur and barely recognizable. The irony was profound. Despite their disdain for the wealthy, they had achieved affluence themselves after I left. Then, out of the blue, 2 months later, Jason called me, sounding almost in tears, and pleaded, "Please help me." I was utterly bewildered. After unilaterally driving someone away, now seeking help, it seemed a terrible twist of fate. Driven by curiosity, I inquired about the situation. Jason began pouring out his story as if a dam had burst. It all started 3 months ago when my former mother-in-law, in a state of excitement, informed Jason, "Guess what? $3 million. We won $3 million. She had been buying lottery tickets annually, and this time, luck was on their side. Shocked, Jason asked, "Really?" And she confidently replied, "Absolutely. I checked it many times. We're rich now, no more being ridiculed by the wealthy. God has been watching over us." Jason fully believed her. She continued, "Now you can break free from that woman's slavery, Jason. She's got a young man on the side, you know. Leave her something." In the thrill of the moment, they both decided to sever ties with me, united in the notion of driving out the perceived devil. Subsequently, they moved into a luxurious condo, reveling in their newfound affluent lifestyle. Jason depleted his savings, and his mother spent her late husband's inheritance extravagantly. However, their joy was short-lived when, upon attempting to cash the lottery ticket, the bank informed them that it was from the previous year, not the current one. Despair engulfed them as it was revealed that the mother had mistakenly checked this year's numbers on last year's ticket. Their hesitation to cash it immediately, fearing my potential claim in the divorce, backfired. Stunned, my response was a simple, "That's unfortunate." And as I prepared to end the call, Jason desperately inquired, "Can I seek compensation, right?" I couldn't fathom the audacity. Compensation? You were the one making baseless accusations, quitting your job and claiming compensation for housework you didn't do. I never requested him to quit his job, and instead of contributing to household chores, he was squandering his time gambling. My anger flared, and I couldn't hold back, yelling, "Don't be absurd, you lazy husband." My sudden outburst surprised Jason, evident in the fear discernible over the phone. If anyone deserves compensation, it's me being kicked out like that, enduring constant complaints about the wealthy from a jealous mother and son who never made an effort. Having aired my grievances, I felt a sense of relief and hung up. The lottery ticket blunder was a foolish mistake. Well, they are just another family to me now. Their fate is of no concern to me. 3 days later, a familiar figure appeared in front of my factory. It was my former mother-in-law, disheveled and clad in worn-out clothes. She seemed like a victim as she suddenly knelt, pleading, "Please, please. I can't afford the $6,000 rent. Please come back." Letting out a sigh, I responded, "Didn't you read the documents? You should check things more carefully. First, the lottery ticket, and now this." She looked up resentfully, saying, "Are you going to abandon this unlucky mother and son?" I shook my head, stating, "Luck is something you create. I've forged my own luck." "What have you been doing?" Dumbfounded, she slumped, and I walked past her without offering assistance. Glancing back after a while, she was still seated there. I didn't look back again and continued on my way. Later, I learned that Jason and his mother were evicted from the luxury condo. They relocated to a dilapidated wooden apartment, working tirelessly in part-time jobs, having depleted all their savings. Meanwhile, I intensified my focus on work, and my factory expanded beyond a small-scale operation. I acquired a larger plot nearby to construct a new factory with facilities for parental leave and childcare. Although I can't share this progress with my parents, witnessing happy families with children at work brings back memories of my childhood and fills me with joy.